Hello and welcome. Another session of conversations at the IFC Climate Business Conference 2017. We are live from New Delhi, and I have with me Rahul Munjal, Chairman and Founder of Hero Future Energies Private Limited, joining me to talk about what his company has done in the last few years, the difficult years, as I like to call it, Rahul. You through with the difficult years, but for the takeoff, some of those smaller niggling issues need to be addressed policy-wise, and there are other issues as well. What are some of those issues that need attention so that we can take off?
Yeah. So let me answer that in a slightly different format. Let's not be too pessimistic.
Sure.
The reality is India is 130th or was 130th, is now 100th in ease of doing business. But if you were to compare renewables as a sector, I don't think India is 100th in the world at all. I would say it's in the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
So the reality is, compared to other sectors in the country, renewables is doing extremely well. Of course, one can nitpick. One can say, okay, these are the micros which are not going in our favor and they need to be improved. And there are quite a few challenges. I'm not saying there are no challenges. But I'm saying one needs to understand how pessimistic one should be. Or I'd like to say, I am actually cautiously optimistic, but I am optimistic at the end of the day. So there is opportunity, there is great opportunity. There are some concerns that we have on the ground, and I'm happy to discuss those concerns one by one. 5%, only 5% or maybe 8% now of the total cost of a project is land. But almost 75 to 80% of our problems lie in land. And solar and wind both. Solar requires close to 4 to 5 acres per megawatt, and a 2.1 or a 2 megawatt wind turbine requires about 2.5 acres per megawatt. While solar, the land is contiguous, you need big parcels of land. In wind, you need pockets of land, and then these pockets need to be connected through transmission lines, and then the entire project both need to be connected to the main substation or the main grid. So the real problems lie in the land and the procurement of land. Now, having said that, India is on this huge task of digitizing land, but that's going to take its own sweet time. And I'm sure once we have all the land records digitized, which will take another 4 or 5 years, maybe even take us through the end of the next decade. Once those happen, I think the land issues will be sorted out. But till that doesn't happen, we will have to face problems in land. Other than land, we see problems in evacuation. Our grid, in fact, it's not only the Indian grid, I would say it's grids all over the world are trying to address the problem or they're finding a solution to renewables because of its intermittency. There is no rocket science in that. And people are addressing it, or countries are addressing it in their own manner. Somebody's putting up more storage, while somebody's putting up other forms of energy. Gas could be a good option as well. So India has to and will start using at least storage, I think, in the next 1 or 2 years to take care of the evacuation problem, or at least the intermittency problem of renewables. Then, as far as the grid itself, we've all heard of the green corridor that's being built, and it's quite a bit of it has already been built out, and the rest is going to be built out very, very soon. So I think if we are patient and if we understand that yes, we live in a country which is extremely complex and it has its fair share of problems, I think one understands and accepts that. And when I accept that, I say there needs to be some challenges, right? And there are challenges there, but they are manageable, I say.
Okay, one point about in solar, one of the worries some companies may have is the falling tariff.
Yeah.
That has been a worry. Through the years I've heard that saying which says that no power is costlier than no power. You should be willing to pay any price for power. But here we have a reverse situation where power tariffs are falling. How much of worry is for a company that is looking to grow the way that you are?
Yeah. So let's understand, why are the tariffs falling in? Are they falling reasonably or is it unreasonable? Please understand, solar is a technology. technology prices always fall. You talk about computers, laptops, chips in computers, robos now. So technology prices have to fall, and the fall on that technology prices versus fall in solar, it's pretty linear, the line. So there is not much difference. Are people doing projects today at lower returns than they were earlier? Yes, they are. But that's also because of two reasons. And one of the reasons is because the interest rates have gone down as well. Now, having said that, cost of technology down, interest rates down, and I'm only talking about India here, I'm not talking about a global scenario. Then comes return expectation. Has the return expectation, Government of India had mandated many years back, I think back in 91, that electricity projects should make a 15.58% return or 15.68, I don't know, between 15 and 16% return. So there were earlier the projects which we were doing, we were able to generate a little more than that. Today we're not. Today the return we have lowered our expectations as well. So that's where the pressure has come in, where we are doing projects. But the flip side is, at this rate, you'll do more projects.
The volume goes up.
Volume goes up. The 175 gigawatt number for the world or for the country doesn't look like a big number. It looks like an achievable number. And now, in fact, I've heard people talk about, okay, 175 we'll do, but what next? Now people are talking about a 250 gigawatt number or a 300 gigawatt number or a 30% by 2030 number. So suddenly the scale is changing that much. And prices have to decline. Prices, see telecom, see almost every other industry, prices over time for technology have to go down. We cannot see them as constant. Unfortunately, in India, we're used to seeing prices go up, but that was because of lack of supply, never lack of demand. Now there is enough supply. So now things are back in order. They were not in order earlier.
Okay, so the demand issues, but there are still issues because beyond a certain place, there isn't consistent demand, I would say, for some of those renewables because it's still concentrated in the urban areas. Would you say that?
Yeah. Okay, so let me answer that. Let me answer that a little differently. I don't know if this is what you were asking me, but there was the increase in demand of electricity in the last year or so has been a little suppressed. There is no doubt. That's not a secret. Is it a long-term phenomena or was it a short-term anomaly? I think it was a short-term anomaly. I was reading a paper somewhere. They said the way middle class is growing in India, you multiply that with the way white goods cost is coming down, you multiply that by how financing of white goods is becoming easier. India will soon need 150 gigawatts just for its AC consumption, like air conditioning, not AC, DC, air conditioning consumption in the next 7 or 8 years. 150 gigawatts in the summer. So the reality is, yes, we have short-term anomalies. We've sold 22 crore bulbs, LED bulbs. So there is going to be efficiencies in the system, right? But everything will correct itself out. So this is a short-term anomaly. The demand will increase before you know it, and once it increases, these questions will not even prop up.
Okay, we'll wrap up the discussion. Thank you so much for your time. If I were to wrap up that conversation in one sentence, here's what it could perhaps be. Add the green practices, add the good practices, subtract the worries, divide the opportunities in terms of what profit can be made, and multiply the profits. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.